Hello BookTube, my name is Yana and welcome to my new video. Today I'm doing the 2016 Year in Review book tag created by Farah from the BookTube book. I was actually not tagged for this video, but I really loved the concept of this tag and it was actually the last reason for me to finally start my own BookTube channel. That's how much I liked it. So let's get started. The first question is Trump versus Clinton. Name your favorite character rivalry. For this one, I have to go with quite obvious Sirius Black versus Professor Snape. They are both believed to be the bad guys in the story, and only much later we realize that they are actually on the right side. So I'm being optimistic and I hope that the same goes for Mr. Trump. And he'll be actually the good guy in the story and for the world. And he'll be a great president. Good luck, America. Second question. Turkey failed coup. A book you started but failed to finish. Oh yes, I have such a book. And it's the Club of Incorrigible Optimists by Jean-Michel Guénassier. It's a thick book. And as I mentioned in my previous videos, I read mostly on the bus, on my way to work and from work. But this is way too heavy to carry it with me. So I did something not so smart. This book was actually not available as an ebook, so I got the Russian version in electronic form. And what I did was that, like, when I was at home, I was reading the paper book in Czech, and when I was traveling, I read the Russian version on my Kindle. Yeah, that was not a good idea. I really like the book. I think it's like really well written. It even got some awards. Prix Concours de Lycéen of 2009. And it's pretty much about the immigrants from Soviet countries to Paris in last century. I still want to read it. I hope I'll finish it someday, but it must be sometimes when I have more time to read at home. My problem is that I'm so used to reading on the bus that when I'm at home, I don't read as much as I would like to because there are other things I could do. But yeah, I'm still hopeful for this one. What I read, which was like more than a third of it, I really liked. But this mixing languages, I was just like getting so lost that yeah, I'm never trying that again. So stupid of me. Stupid. So, question number 3. Pokemon Go. What book did you buy or read based on the hype? Did you enjoy it? I did enjoy it. I think it was one of the most amusing book I read last year. And that's Cinder. I really love the story. Uh, if you don't know which, then how could it happen? It's a retelling of Cinderella where she's a cyborg. That's enough to know, and it's wonderful. I loved it. Question number 4. Stranger Things. What's one book you want everyone to read? And that's Necromancer Johannes Cabal. I love this book. Like it was so amusing. Not like funny, ha ha ha, I'm laughing out loud. But I really enjoyed the story and the language was so rich. Unfortunately, just like the first book was translated to Czech years ago, so I'm afraid that the rest will never be published in Czech, so I had to buy two more books like from the series, let's say, in English. So now, as usual, my books don't match. I hate that. And you English speakers think that like it's terrible when your books don't match because you have something in hardback and something in paperback and doesn't look good. So imagine when you also make several languages. So annoying. So annoying. Yeah. Um, yeah. Wonderful book about necromancer that sells his soul to the devil, and then he realizes that actually he needs his soul to do his research. So he's going to hell to to negotiate with the devil to give him his soul back. And the devil had a great mood, so he made a bet with Johannes Cabal, and he gave him 1 year to do something, and if he succeeds, he'll get his soul back. So Johannes Cabal agrees on that, but the devil, of course, sends like all his companions to try Johannes to make fail. Very funny, very witty. I love that book. Question number 5. Game of Thrones, The Walking Dead, Mr. Robot. What was your favorite book cliffhanger within a series? I don't have such. Hmm? Huh, are you jealous? Because I don't read as many series, I don't have the cliffhangers. Wonderful. So I can skip this one. Question number 6. The Tragic Crisis in Aleppo. Name the last book that made you cry or teary eyed. Yes. And it was The Sound of the Sundial by Hanna Androníková. This is a Czech book, but it was actually translated in English because it's a very well written book that got some kind of awards, and the topic of it is kind of international. So, yes, it exists in English. It's available. I checked, and Book Depository for sure they have it. So, it's called The Sound of the Sundial, and it's about uh, like 60-year-old man who's telling a story of his parents, how they met, how they fell in love, how they got married, how they got him. And it starts in 20s in last century when they met in Czechoslovakia. Then the husband, together with the wife, of course, was sent to India to start a factory or to build a factory. Then they went back, and there was a Second World War, and the wife was a Jew. So, yeah, then it's about war and such. Very touching, very moving, high ratings, and this. I mean, if a book is translated from Czech to English, then it must be something very special, right? Because otherwise, like, who cares about, let's say, a mediocre book? 7. Brexit. Name a book you have an unpopular opinion towards. For this one, I need to mention Born to Run. It's a Bible of all runners. I'm also a runner. I DNF'd this book 3 times before I finally got into the end. Hated it. It was so boring. I have no idea what's so popular about it among runners. Maybe they just don't read, so they don't recognize a good book. I don't know. It was a torture. I need to get rid of it. Ugh. 8. 4 new elements discovered in the periodic table. Name an author you read for the first time this year. Yes, it's a Czech author again. Look at this book. Would you ever buy something like this called Dangerous Love, written by Czech author and happening in the US? I think this is the ugliest book I own. And even when I saw it in the bookstore, I never even thought of not buying it, but like even like reading the synopsis. And then my favorite booktuber, Ohana from Ohana's World of Pure Imagination, mentioned this book, gave it 5 stars, and I was totally excited about it. So I was like, okay, maybe I can try that. And I tried it, and I totally, totally love it. It's perfect. Unfortunately, not translated, but yeah, wonderful, wonderful read. But this is actually one of the books that I would be uh, ashamed to read in public, just from how it looks like, the name, and pretty much everything on it. I would have to cover it in paper. But all lives matter. Your favorite diverse read? Well, I don't read a lot of diverse books, to be honest. I live in a very non-diverse country, I would say, and the diversity is not that relevant, maybe, even though I know that this sounds terrible for like most of you. But for me, pretty much any American book is a diverse read because it's from a totally different continent and totally different culture. So yeah. But I have a diverse book. And it's I Leave the Unseen by G. Willow Wilson, which is a cyberpunk urban fantasy book happening in some Arab country. And so like the whole story is like based on the Muslim culture. And the fantasy parts there are about jinns, this Thousand and One Nights and stuff like that. It's a very nice read. I recommend it very much. The ending was a real surprise for me, unexpected, which doesn't happen to me that often. I really enjoy it. Zika Virus, a book that spread like wildfire. I don't read many novelties either, but I think that like for this question, the answer very much is Mrs. Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children. I read this book in 2012 when it was published, and now with the movie, it is kind of like the second round. And I think with most of the diseases, it's also like that very often that like there's a disease, then it's kind of like not, and then it comes back. So yeah, I can say this one. Question number 11. Leonardo DiCaprio finally won the Oscar. What was your most anticipated book released this year? I bought this book 2 days ago. No, because that was New Year's Eve. So it must be like 3 or 4 days ago. I think unfortunately not translated to English, but it's Mariam Petrosyan, which is an Armenian author, and she read this series in Russian. It's called The House in Which. And because I have my whole Armenian bookshelf, I was so excited when I found out that there's an Armenian author being translated to Czech and writing in urban fantasy. I was like, oh my god! Yeah, so I haven't read it yet, but I want to start it as soon as I finish the book I'm currently reading. And yeah, we'll see. I have high hopes. Hmm. Question number 12. In Memoriam, name a memorable character death. Excuse me. Well, seriously, I have no idea how to answer this question without a major spoiler, so I'm skipping this one because what what can I say? Like, can't avoid it, so skipping. And the last question, 13. Samsung phones. One book that blew your mind this year. It was not such like a mind-blowing book per se, but it was a very interesting insight into someone else's mind. And that was The Girl from 6E. by Alessandra R. Torres. Uh, Warning, this is an erotica book because the girl from 6E's job is being an online girl providing virtual sex. But that's not what this book is mostly about. She has a very urgent feeling to kill someone, so she decides to lock herself in an apartment and just totally avoid any human interaction, like face to face. She's having everything delivered and she's just locked in the apartment and she's providing the online sexual services because that's the way how she can earn money without going to work. And it's very interesting to read like how she's thinking because of course she doesn't want to become the serial killer. And yeah, then something happens. Let's put it this way. So that was all for the 216 year in review book tag. I'm taking Katie from the Mirror World and Erin from Breeze Books. I'm really excited to see uh, their answers. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you for watching. Have a nice day and bye.